All righty, folks. How's it going? Welcome. Another edition of Boxing Chit. It has been a good while, very, very long while, but we are back in here because the game doesn't wait. What's going on with your boss?
Yeah, not much. We have finally gotten some spring weather today here. We had a really long winter, not summer, and just 2 days ago we still had snow. Some snow falling actually. So that
Oh, wow. 2 days
was,
ago.
yeah, what
That's
a
great.
bummer. But now finally today we got nice weather. Yeah, nice enough, and we.
Okay, cool, cool. Yeah, we've gotten some sun, I would say, but the weather has been up and down. Sometimes
Right.
windy, rainy, and cold. Still
Yeah,
colder than
windy
what it
here
should
as
be.
well, but sunny most of the day. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that climate change, man, is something serious. But
Yeah,
yeah, it's been a while for us here with boxing shit. So it's good to be able to jump back in and talk some boxing, baby, because we've had a lot of good action here over the last few weekends, and
mm,
we did have some pretty solid action this past weekend as well. So we can likely jump straight into that. And before we do that, I have to say salute to my man Rodolfo Rivera Jr., who's dropped by, showing some love. Appreciate having you here, Rodolfo. Been a while, all right? Been a good long
yeah.
while. So we
What's
appreciate
up?
having you.
R double R.
Double R there. There you go. Double R. We're waiting for your channel right there, Double R as well. Want to come check you out there. So
Yeah.
salute to you there, buddy. All's good. But yeah, so boxing this weekend, we had some pretty solid action overall. I wasn't able to catch everything, of course, but I was able to catch the main.
Well, something happened. I think he pressed the wrong button again. Yeah.
I did that right
There
there.
you
Like
are.
the way I did that, just threw myself out of there. Anyway, as I was
Yeah.
saying, I wasn't able to catch the entirety of all that was going on for the weekend. I did catch the main attraction here in the U.S. that went
Mm,
down at the Fontainebleau in Las Vegas. I believe that's where it was.
mm.
Apparently, a new venue and all that stuff. A zone card
Yeah.
that featured
That's
Richard
something.
Hitchins.
Some place I have seen before. It's not.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. So Richard Hitchins, he is a highly touted, I guess you could say up and coming, but a little bit beyond the up and coming stage, 140 pounder here out of the U.S. He was taking on an Argentine fighter, Lemos, last name Lemos at least. And I need to find out what his full first name was. But Lemos, who was one of those Argentine fighters who was coming in with a lot of
Gustavo.
knockouts in a number of fights, but a lot of
Uh,
unknowns as well, which tends to be the case because we've seen it in the past, and they were talking about it in the broadcast. You've had guys like Marcos Maidana who popped up out of there,
mm,
Lucas Matisse. Generally, these guys have had some pretty
yeah.
big records with a lot of knockouts, but you never know which way it's going to go when they step in with someone over here. But I will say that in this case, Lemos proved to be of a similar cloth from a fighting standpoint as it related to his contest with Richard Hitchins. And this was a WB something, oh no, IBF Junior Welterweight Championship
Yeah.
Eliminator. So this was going to be setting the both of them up for a chance at the title. The 140 title, I don't know who has the IBF right now. It's either Haney.
Subriel, I believe.
Oh,
Subriel
okay.
Matias.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that is right. You are correct there by Sabril Matias, who is going to make for an interesting fight with
Mm,
ultimately the
very.
winner of this being Hitchins. But Lemos came in 29-0, Hitchins 17-0.
Yeah.
26 years old for Hitchins, 28 for Lemos, and 17 knockouts
Ultimate.
or no, not 17 knockouts, but
19. Oh, yeah.
seven
17
for
wins.
seven for
Yeah.
Hitchens. But yeah, you're right. 19 out of those 29 victory featured knockouts
Mm,
for Lemos. So But I know you weren't able to catch the contest in itself, like that
No,
matchup specifically.
I just fell asleep.
Yeah, no, hey, can't blame you. Yeah, it did come
Yeah,
on or didn't kick off until a bit later, most certainly.
yeah.
So that's always a challenge. But
I'm
anyway,
sorry.
I caught a good deal of it, or I
Yeah,
caught
I
all of
just
it actually.
just now saw the highlights, but they don't show everything. But what they did show is that Lemos had a really, he landed many good fights. Sorry, punches, and had Hitchins in trouble a few times. But yeah, Hitchins had, of course, some good middle rounds, it seems. And yeah, but I did expect him to win, like with, you know, like more, a little more dominant fashion anyway,
Yeah.
because, Lemos, the only big name on his record was Lee Selby, who was at the end of his career, so,
Oh yeah.
you know, but
We.
yeah, he's really proven himself, just like, what's his name, the guy who fought Germel Charlo.
Oh yeah,
What was
Brian Castano. He's another
Castano? Yeah, he
Argentine
wasn't
fighter.
very well known, but he became that after he fought him the first time and gave him a hard fight. So this
Yeah, that's
guy, I
true.
think, will now become more famous after this fight. Lemos, definitely. Gustavo, his name is. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, and there wasn't a lot of flash and pizzazz to his style. He came there to fight, and he was just coming
yeah.
straight in, ready to go. And he really, really did put Hitchens in some very uncomfortable spots. Real quick, salute to Mr. Pads out there. Salute to you, Mr.
He,
Pads. Great having you in here, buddy. Mr. Pads says he thought Lemos did enough to win, or did enough to get the nod. Shame. Oh yeah,
yeah,
I'm with you there, Mr. Pads. Hold on, come right back to that. As a matter of fact, shout out to my mom out there, says evening sun and bars. Happy Sunday. Salute to you there, mom, for being in the mix here as always. That is great having you. So good to see you check back in on us. Then Mosaic, salute to you there, buddy. Says greetings, gentlemen. Greetings to you. Greetings to you as well. We definitely appreciate you dropping by. First time seeing your name there, but certainly happy to have you here. Always great to add to the conversation. Again, we're talking boxing action from this weekend right now. We're talking Lemos versus Hitchens. And I thought Boz there, along with Mr. Pads, that in the end, the nod seemed to favor Lemos. Now, I was actually scoring it via Fight Night Scores, and shout out to Fight Night Scores. If you don't know about that scoring app, do check it out, fight-score.com. But anyway, I was scoring it on Fight Night Scores, and I may have been around. I may have messed up a round in the way that I scored it, but I had it 116, 112 at the end, but it could have been
well,
115, 113, but I had somehow missed around or whatever. And I thought I corrected it properly, but either way, I had a nod slightly in favor of Lemos. I thought that he put a lot of pressure on Hitchens. And as you mentioned, Hitchens did have some success there in the middle rounds, but one thing that was apparent was that pressure never stopped from Lemos. And Lemos, he kept charging forward, and the more effective shots, in my opinion, those that had more pop on them and got a reaction were those that came from Lemos. And Lemos, he just had that guard up, charging forward. But when he was winging those hooks, they were landing, and Hitchens looked like, okay, yeah, this is a tougher fight than what I thought it was going to be in all likelihood. And
yeah,
Lemos just didn't have that flair and pizzazz that one may associate with a guy who has more of a stylistic boxing look. But that being said, I thought the fight in itself, if we look at it from, okay, this is a fight, two guys going at it, landing punches, I just felt that Lemos did more than Hitchens in the contest, even though Hitchens did have a little bit of success there in the middle rounds when he started to find range and use his jab a bit more. But he was on the back foot for practically the entirety of the fight. So whatever it was that was coming from Lemos, he was surely feeling it. He was surely feeling it. I will say that. And I thought it was a slight injustice in Lemos not walking away with the victory, especially considering all of the judges had it in favor of Hitchins, and one had it 117, 111, I believe.
Yeah, that Mr. Paz wrote about that. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
This guy cheat him.
Marzak had it 115, 113. Okay, cool for Lemos. Okay.
Is that his real name or Cheatham? Not really
Oh, Cheatham. So Mr. Paz mentions, Josh, did you see 117, 111 scorecard? Yeah, it was from Cheatham. Oh, Cheatham. Yeah, well, that name has been around there, and it seems to be fitting, but it's the name that's certainly been in the boxing ranks. The guy's beyond a joke. He needs to lead the sport. The amount of controversy that guy has started in boxing is a joke. No doubt about it there, Mr. Paz. Disgraceful. So, I didn't know who had the 117, 111 scorecard, but certainly Richard Hitchins didn't deserve a 117, 111 nod. He most certainly did not deserve that. The fight, I felt, was closer, as mentioned, but if you look at the momentum, it largely lied with Lemos for the majority of the contest. And even there in the end, I think the last 2 rounds I even gave to Lemos. So I haven't seen the actual scorecards. It'd be interesting to see how those last couple of rounds were scored there by Cheatham and the likes or whatever, because Lemos, he came to fight, and it was a shame. And unfortunately for the sport, I guess you can say more so, Lemos, he could already tell. It's almost like he knew he was about to take this loss, because when they were reading off the scorecards, he just had his back turned, like in preparation, like, yeah, we're not going to get it. His corner, they kind of had the look on their face like, yeah, this is what we expected as well. And yeah, that is distasteful and disgraceful, and certainly not a credit to the sport there, as Mr. Paz alluded to as well, when you kind of can predict it. And something told me, once I saw that they were all in favor of a particular guy, that maybe they're going to give this to Hitchins, and ultimately they did.
Yeah, I mean, usually the home guy gets it, unless he has been like down a couple of times and stuff like that. Then usually he doesn't win anyway. But this has always been a problem, but especially in the last few years. I mean, we've seen quite many robberies, home decisions, and I don't know why it is so, but it is so, definitely.
We I think that's something we'll certainly have to address. How to address specifically, you need more transparency, but I'm sure not all want that transparency. Not all want that. And
what I hate the most when you talk about it to many boxing, fans from America, they just, or anyway in the past, they will just point to other places like Germany, and Japan or whatever. Like, but it's not, don't pretend like you don't have this problem either. It's all right, Germany, all right, and Japan, but you, what about you, right?
Right.
Isn't something wrong in your house as well?
No, you're right. That is something that does come up. It does come up. The other countries, we should clean it up in all countries. That's what we're getting at right there. It shouldn't happen anywhere. Salute to Thomas from the Bronx. Salute to you there, Thomas. TD Sports Talk, holding it down the Bronx. Says what's good. Salute to you there. Hey, if you haven't checked out Thomas, be sure to check him out. Give him a like and subscribe. He has some great interviews that he's doing over there on his channel. He had Stitch Duran recently. Everybody knows Stitch. That's the man right there for the cuts. And then he handles it well. He has built that brand there, Stitch Duran. He's had a number of others over there on the channel. So be sure to check out TD Sports Talk, holding it down from the Bronx, baby. Salute to Puerto Rico as well. Been there a number of times. It was like my second home right there. So appreciate you dropping by there, Thomas. We're talking a little bit of boxing action from the past weekend, Lemos Hitchins, and hey, the way the sport goes. Well, you know what this means now. So Richard Hitchins is going to have to go in there with another puncher. That's his pathway to the title, as you mentioned there, Boz. So Brio Matias holding it down for Puerto Rico right there himself. He's another one who is going to be,
I think,
a problem for Hitchins, I'd imagine, given that Lemos was able to land and really trouble him. I can only imagine what Matias is going to do.
I favor Matias against Hitchins, especially having seen this. I mean, the highlights that I did see from last night. You know, it didn't look like Hitchins had much response to the attacks from Lemos, and he just looked pretty, you know, helpless there against the ropes. And but he's a tough guy, obviously, so that's why he lasted the distance. But you know, Matias is a beast. He just has stopped everybody so far that he fought, and I don't think he ever went past like 6 rounds or something, 7. I don't know.
Yeah, it's crazy. It is crazy. And he doesn't just stop them either. He makes them quit in their corners. They say, I don't want to go back out for any more, which is crazy. That's I think they mentioned it. His last 5 opponents, I believe it is, have all retired on their stool there.
Same as with Lomachenko back in the day.
No Maschenko, no Matias.
No Maschenko.
No Matias holding it down. But yeah, that's going to be interesting. Now, for me, right there at the end of the contest, I tweeted it, or I put it in my little tweet with the Fight Night Scores thing that something to paraphrase at least. I was looking forward to Matias versus Lemos because that had the makings of something that could have been super action packed right there. If we had Matias versus Lemos, because Lemos, as you saw, is the guy who's going to come forward to bang, and Matias, we know he's game for that as well. So the Hitchins fight is going to be a very much different contest, but based on that fight, and of course, you know, one fight doesn't necessarily always define a boxer and all that stuff. But based on that fight, and knowing what we know of Richard Hitchins from previous contests and all, he's going to have a tough time keeping Matias off of him. And I don't know if he's going to be able to handle that power, as you mentioned. So I see a stoppage in a similar capacity for Matias when this contest happens.
And Matias isn't that much shorter. Like Lemos is a lot shorter than Hitchins, but Matias is only a couple of inches shorter.
Yeah, that's another thing right there. So Matias, we know he's a known commodity, and that power in those hands are legit. So we'll definitely see what's happening there for sure. Salute to you there, Marzaik. Appreciate you subbing there to Thomas. Thomas says the way Hitchins looked last night, he would struggle badly with Matias. Yeah, hey, with you there, Thomas. He's gonna need to fight the fight of his life, and he couldn't keep Lemos off of him, and Lemos kept him routinely backing up to the ropes. And you know, when Matias gets you there, man, he's teeing off for sure. So it's gonna be interesting.
I think Hitchins just got a lot of credit for beating Zepeda, who was already shop worn, obviously, you know. So that was pretty much why he won. He looked good in that fight, Hitchins, but against a prime fighter, you know, the best out there. Totally different story, of course, you know.
Yeah. This was the toughest fight of his career thus far. You're right. Yeah, I forget that. Zepeda, that was the one that kind of took him over the top in some sense as far as that name. But Zepeda certainly is on the downslide. Yeah, I was always a fan of Zepeda, but he's certainly on the downslide at this point. And who knows how many legitimate fights he has left in him, seemingly not too many. So
especially after he was knocked out in the 11th round by Regis Prograis. That's always can be very damaging to be knocked out so late. You know?
Yeah, that is true. So that makes sense there.
Also, have been some really tough wars like Baranchik fight and also Ramirez.
That was a great fight, great damn fight right there.
Wow, fight.
But that messed up Baranchik too. Baranchik was never the same. Zepeda have more left in him, but certainly at this point, Zepeda, not the same fighter.
Yeah. William Zepeda is something else, though.
Oh, yeah. There's a new Zepeda in town. William Zepeda, folks. I'm sure you've heard of him, but that's the new Zepeda in town right there. And, man, he'll make for some very interesting contests, too. I saw somebody tweet, it might have been Michael Fox. Salute to Michael Fox, that Hitchins might be better at 135 pounds as opposed to 140, which
very tall. Of course.
Well, especially right now, Yeah, and Hitchins, he doesn't have that power or pop, so he's gonna always need to box and box well against a certain type of fighter,
And that's also, usually those guys will always have to go 12 rounds or 10 at least. They usually don't last very long. Their prime is shorter because of that.
It's tough. It's so crazy when you think about some of those guys back in the day who, like Maxie Rosenblum, Harry Greb, he's an example of one where they didn't have a ton of knockouts, very limited amount of knockouts, and they had like 300 fights, in that neighborhood. So it's insane to think about the amount of rounds that these guys had put in. That definitely has to take a toll. Certainly something worth noting right there, but different time, different game right now. Hitchins did buzz Lemos a couple of times in the fight. Yeah, that is true, Thomas. He did. Yeah, Hitchins, especially in those middle rounds, he was getting that jab working, and certainly long, as you mentioned there, Bob. So he was landing some of those long shots that definitely
he's got the long arms. He's got the physical advantages, but he's not a puncher, so it's still hard for him to win, harder because of that, to win fights.
Oh yes, certainly. But no, that's a good one. Then the co-main event of that, as Mr. Pats puts here, he said Josh and Biles were impressed with Diego Pacheco's performance. He left a lot to be desired, in my opinion. Wasn't impressed. Certainly, it wasn't necessarily an overall impressive performance for him, but I think he turned it on there at the back end. So Diego Pacheco, he took on McCalman. I forget McCalman's first name, but he ended up picking up a unanimous decision over McCalman. And McCalman was kind of an unknown commodity in some sense. He was undefeated coming in. And I thought McCalman, especially in the early rounds, I would say through the first 4 rounds, McCalman showed himself pretty well. And he actually landed some pretty solid shots on Pacheco, but ultimately the second half of the fight, Boz and I were talking a little bit beforehand. The second half of the fight was all Pacheco there. So Mr. Pads, I thought that Pacheco did well there in the second half, but no, we didn't see him, pull out anything spectacular like we've seen in some contests. And I guess his stoppage streak, I think he stopped his last guy. He's known to be a guy who can stop some individuals. He wasn't able to pull that off with McCallum, but it did become a sloppy, uglier fight there in the back end as well with the holding. And I thought that was mainly on McCallum's part, who I felt had he done a bit more, it could have been even more interesting contest. It ended up being a little bit wider on the cards than what it seemed that it would ultimately end up being. And I think that's mainly because McCallum seen the gas or something there in the second half, because he was focused more on holding, and I think he was trying to catch his breath. That's seemingly what it probably was, and he wasn't throwing many shots. And Pacheco, he started to work his way on the inside there a bit and started to punch down towards McCallum, who was few inches shorter, I believe, than I think it's more probably a few inches shorter. Pacheco's about 6'2", 6'3", or something.
6'4", actually. And
okay, 6'4".
McCallum is 6 feet.
Okay, so Pacheco there in the tail end, especially the last 2 rounds, he started to catch McCallum on the inside, which I thought favored him. And he wasn't doing that in the beginning. In the beginning, he was looking a bit, I don't know, reluctant and just not very active either. So Yeah, it wasn't a good performance from an overall standpoint there. I'm with you, Mr. Paz, but he certainly made an adjustment there towards the end to pull off that victory. And I like Pacheco. I've always liked him. I remember him being with Split T Boxing and just seeing him come up, man, he's done pretty well. Definitely has that makeup to be someone who will be in the mix and be a challenger there from a title standpoint. But of course, as we know, 168 pounds is funneling through one guy right now, and getting him in the ring with the likes of a Pacheco certainly isn't going to happen anytime soon.
No. And that height disadvantage for Canelo, man, it would be huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. And not to mention that Pacheco does punch hard. He has stopped 17 of 21 fighters, guys so far.
Yeah. He does. And Pacheco, he would be sort of like well, no, not stylistically the same necessarily, but it'd be like Canelo fighting a slight version of Benavidez. Just so happens that the two work together in camp. They're kind of teammates and all that stuff right there. Isn't that interesting?
Wow. Yeah, that's interesting.
Benavidez was there. Benavidez was lit. He was lit last night, but Benavidez was there in attendance and whatnot. And as we know, that's the fight that we want to see at 168 pounds right there, Canelo versus Benavidez, and apparently it's not going to happen. But man, that was the best fight in boxing right there. I was throwing it in there. I was saying it was the best fight in boxing after that contest between Spence and Crawford. Since then, I feel like the best fight in boxing was Benavidez versus Canelo, and it doesn't look like that's going to happen. But hey, we can't say it's something we haven't seen in boxing before.
Yeah, Benavidez is just outgrowing 168, obviously.
Go good. Salute to you. Go good. Go good. Says no. What do you think? Go good. You got another one that you think is up there? I think Fury Usyk is a good fight. But yeah. People hyping it up too much. Okay, I feel you. Hey, I feel you right there. Go good. I feel you. Salute to you there. Go good. Appreciate you dropping by there. But no, I feel you. I felt like, and I'm not saying it's like, oh, we're seeing the two absolute best fighters. I just think stylistically, that's why I felt that. But yeah, a lot of good fights. No, you're right. There are some good ones out there. There are some other that are some pretty solid ones that can be made as well. But from a stylistic standpoint, that's what it was. That's why I like it as the top dog. But certainly not now. Certainly it's not the case now. And this Benavidez is going to be taking on, as we know, he's going to be taking on Alexander Gvozdyk
Really?
the nail. And that should be an interesting one. The nail is back. He's been back here for like a year plus or something of that nature. And he looks healthy, looks in top shape, or he has looked in top shape in his previous contest. But Benavidez, that's going to be an interesting one. Now, Benavidez is going up. And,
they are talking about him ending up as a heavyweight. That's how crazy.
That would be pretty crazy right there.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it's not that he would be that small for heavyweight.
Right.
He started out at 168.
I know he used to be a heavyweight before he got in shape.
Really? Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know how that will work out. Just different. That's a big jump.
Maybe he will fight at the end of his career a few fights heavyweight. I don't think he will be there very long.
We'll see for sure. Cause that would be a big jump.
Probably he'll end up as a cruiserweight. I mean, that's how he will end his career most likely.
Oh yeah. So, in all likelihood, that would be the case. But yeah, Benavidez, he could take on the winner of the contest between Bivol and Beterbiev, which that's an interesting fight as well.
Yeah, of course.
Yep. And TD Thomas was mentioning, Hitchins sitting on his punches more. Certainly he does have to do that there.
Yeah.
Real quick. There was another one Mr. Pads had mentioned. Oh
Yeah, that
yeah.
was the
Mr.
yeah.
Pads mentioned, did we see Galal Yafai? Did not impress me. I see a lot of flaws in his game. Yeah, I know you saw that one, Boz. What were your thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, he was pretty good about it. I didn't like that he kept pushing, the guy,
Oh
what's his
yeah.
name, Galto down, and he kind of has a little uses some dirty tactics, but
Yep.
he definitely was the better guy and landed a lot of punches. But yeah, I mean, Galto had some moments himself, but yeah, he was just outgunned, obviously, and. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, to me, your fight looked pretty good.
Yeah.
Maybe not like stars, like a total star or whatever. Like
Hmm.
yeah. But he definitely did what he was supposed to do. Yeah.
Yeah, in that first round, I thought Yafai was about to get him out of there, but I give the other guy credit. He came through and
He's also a
held on.
tough Argentinian like
Oh
Lemos.
yeah, that is right. Yeah, he came into the contest only one loss. Did I think 20 something fights or something like that too. And Yafai, of course, he's fast tracked right now on a pretty solid and fast track because they're already talking title, and he has looked good and at points. And of course, I guess you can say this was a though I guess it could be considered a step up for him. Though some might argue
Yeah.
otherwise. But I thought that Yafai he hung in there early on, made things interesting. But as Mr. Paz mentioned, he had some moments. He does get hit, and this guy, while he had a decent amount of knockouts, he didn't necessarily put Yafai in enough trouble to where it caused any true threat in the sense of okay, yeah, he's about to potentially get him out of there or anything. But I thought Levi had some very good moments there, and he ended up making it a pretty interesting contest. Made it a somewhat exciting contest in some sense. But certainly there are some flaws there, as you mentioned, Mr. Pads, and that's something he'll have to continue to work on. But I thought that
Oh,
he kept sticking with it, and the referee thought the other guy had enough. He ended up stopping that contest there towards the tail end. I think it was the 8th round,
but
and
yeah.
that's a plus for him for sure.
I certainly don't see a lot of flaws, but maybe you'll see something that I don't, Mr. Paz. In that case, kudos to you. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Hey, different things are seen by different folks.
Yeah.
Now, I think what we'll be telling is, or we'll really find out, is if he ends up fighting Sonny Edwards as they were talking about. They mentioned Sonny Edwards.
Yeah.
That's the guy that seemingly Eddie Hearn wants. Yafai seems
British.
to be cool with it. I think that would certainly tell us where Yafai is, and
Mm.
I think that's an
The
interesting
all
contest as well.
all British showdown, of course. Yeah, that
Yeah,
always sells.
yeah.
Yeah, son.
I
Yeah,
wondered
why
if I
not?
wondered if Yafai was ready, but hey, they seem to think he's ready, so let's do
Yeah,
it.
he should be ready. I mean, probably I would favor Sonny. I mean, unless he has been damaged now after the loss to
That was a
Bam
damn good
Bam.
fight.
Yeah. So, but Sonny is just a very clever boxer, and he'll
Yeah,
be a tough assignment, if nothing, for your fight anyway. Yeah.
yeah. No. I think you're right there. So Yafai versus Edwards. I look forward to that one if it goes down, and we'll see if it actually goes down next, which would be a very interesting one, as you mentioned. More of a domestic show for them on that end. Though I think it'll get some pretty solid fanfare from us here across the pond because Edwards, he has a pretty big personality, so he makes for interesting
Yeah.
build up as well.
Yeah. He's pretty charismatic figure.
Very much so. Very much. Salute to you there, Max Duran. Max Duran is dropped by the building, folks. Salute to you there, Max. Appreciate you dropping by, buddy, as always. Good to have you in conversations. So Max says, unfortunately, I did not see the Hitchins fight, but I did hear about the controversy. Oh, yes. We were discussing that, Max. Yeah, there were a number of us who felt that Lemos probably deserved a nod in that contest, though didn't go in its favor. Traveling from Argentina, not a known name, and hey, put up a hell of a force, or showed a good amount of force against Hitchins, though couldn't get that nod.
Before I forget, we gotta talk about Cruz versus Romero.
We'll have to discuss that one. I still haven't seen it.
Really?
I was at I was at something when this was happening. I can't remember. I was at another boxing event, as a matter of fact.
Really?
That day. In Philadelphia. So I didn't catch it. But we can certainly chat about it. What are your thoughts on it? And I will say, no, I haven't seen it. Rodolfo. And I will admit that I said coming into the contest that Romero was going to stop Cruz.
Hey, you were eating your words.
I'll admit, I'm not ducking it. I said Romero was about to knock him out in 3 rounds or less.
I don't know what happened. He had the power to do it, but I guess, because Cruz is so short, or maybe his movement, because I don't know why he really punched. I mean, he used a strange kind of way of punching. He didn't really sit on his punches. He was just more like jabs and stuff that he used. Like quick punches. And it didn't work, of course. You can't do that against a guy like Cruz. So
I wasn't alone, though, thankfully. That's right, Thomas. That's why I always liked you. We're both on the same page.
I mean, Cruz is one of my new favorite fighters, definitely. I mean, he's just a whirlwind, man. I mean, he's a true Aaron Pryor type fighter, destroyer of many Pacquiao even. So
I'm gonna stop sleeping on Cruz here. Pitbull. Yeah, I'm gonna stop sleeping on him. I'm sleeping on him.
That's right. I mean, I'm not even sure if Tank really won against Cruz. I mean, that was really close as hell, that fight.
Max Duran said Pitbull showed out. Tank rematch. Hey, I'm sure that's gonna be thrown out there for sure.
That was, I think, either a draw or maybe Tank won by 1 point, not more. I wouldn't say more, definitely, than 1 point.
And then Max mentions or Pitbull against real Matias. Ooh, I had to go with Matias in that one.
Mouth watering fight.
They would be in there banging. They'll be in there banging for sure. So that's a very interesting one. But that Tank rematch probably is one that they're going to. I can see that one happening for sure, though, because you have some of that little history there, and they can build it up even more. And now Pitbull's knocked out the guy that Tank knocked out, so that makes for an interesting rematch.
And a guy that did give Tank quite a lot of problems before he.
So that makes the story of the rematch interesting right there. It does. So that might be what we see after, or at least depending on the outcome of Tank versus Frank Martin, which is going to be happening. Though I think the majority of people are on the side of Tank beating Martin.
I'm saying, who's Frank Martin? I don't even know the guy.
He's a guy who was signed with Errol Spence. He's out of Texas, probably Dallas, but he's with him, and he's shown some good problems. I think he beat the guy he beat in his last fight, which was controversial. I believe he was from Azerbaijan or Armenia. I can't think of his name right now, though, but it was one that some said was controversial. They felt that maybe Martin didn't deserve to die. But Martin, he showed promise as he's come up. And, this fight might just be a little bit too soon. Certainly a step up in class for him. And I think the expectations are that he's going to be stopped by Tank here at some point, or at least That's my expectation.
You see the guy they call the Ghost.
Yeah, I believe that is his nickname. I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
I found
ghost.
out. Yeah, that last fight was the one Artem Harutunian. That's the Armenian guy.
Yeah. So that one, I think some felt that uh, Artuian or whatever his name is was done a disservice
Harutunian. Yeah,
somewhat. So
yeah. I mean,
we'll see
I
though.
see Martin doesn't look like. I mean, he does seems to have power, but it's not like a big, like huge puncher or anything. He's more like an, I would say, accumulation puncher, just judging by his record. It's mostly TKO wins that he's got. Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, he's gonna make it interesting. I believe for a couple of rounds, and sometimes Tank doesn't just necessarily start out fast, so it'll be interesting probably for the first few rounds, and then from there, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Martin holds up. I think that would be a testament if he holds up. But hey, you never know. This is gonna be the fight of his life, the biggest chance of his life right here. So hey, some guys turn up in a major way when that opportunity comes about.
Yeah. It's some shriek.
Yeah. So it should be pretty interesting. TD Thomas mentioned anyone notice Romero messing around with his gloves the entire fight? Did you notice that, Boz?
No, I don't think I did. But I mean, he just fought in a strange way, as I said. And, even though he did kind of come back after he was hurt in the end of the first round, really, like pretty badly. And then he kind of bounced back in the next two, but he just couldn't really,
Got hurt in the
really
first
hurt.
round? What the heck?
Yeah, already. And, everybody went, well, the commentators. And this guy kept repeating one word. He's gone. I don't remember what he was saying. He's out of it. He's out of it. Something like that. Like 5 times.
Yeah. I'm gonna check that out. I'm gonna check it out this week for sure.
Yeah.
I'll be ready next show for sure in terms of discussing this one. But I saw the little stoppage there at the end. I saw highlighted that. Some people were saying that they felt it was too early.
No, it really didn't look like his usual self. As I said, he didn't really land any really big punches, or he just was like boxing more or less. That's what he looked like. He was boxing rather than fighting or punching.
And holding, apparently, according to Rodolfo.
Yeah.
Deducted a point.
Pitbull is a beast, so yeah.
Oh yeah, hey, he is like a firecracker in there, just nonstop. But yeah, Pitbull, he'll finish them from there. Salute to you, Rodolfo.
Yeah.
Hey, you mentioned it, Rodolfo. Hey, he was saying from the jump that Pitbull was gonna beat him. He was saying that from the jump.
Yeah, I also thought that. I mean, I kind of knew because I never seen Pitbull really in trouble yet. I mean, not even against Tank, like really phased or anything. He's worthy of his nickname, of course.
Really. Oh yeah, certainly he is. He is. And TD with a good question: does Tank fight him at 140 though? Yeah, that's an interesting question. Interesting question right there.
Mr. Pads also mentions the Bohachuk fight versus Mendoza.
Oh yeah.
I did kind of catch.
I missed it.
Didn't see the whole fight, unfortunately, but I did. And shout out to Team Skywalker Boxing.
Skywalker.
I watched it through his, Zoom, how you say, live video.
Yeah.
Stream. And yeah, it looked like a pretty good fight, but Bohachuk was really dominant. And, Mendoza's face was really grotesquely swollen in one side at the end. Really like.
Oh, yeah, I did see that. A picture of that.
Yeah, and then he still kept talking. He gave an interview like nothing had happened. Like,
oh yeah,
that's a tough guy, man.
Yeah, so that was a good one to bring up there, Mr. Pat. Unfortunately, I didn't see that one. I was looking forward to it as well. But that being said, I do know that I felt that Mendoza was going to stop Bohachek. And boy, was I wrong, apparently. Boy, was I wrong again. Hey, sometimes I'm wrong.
in round 11, when Mendoza had, some good punches, kind of shook Bohachuk, but it just wasn't able to really finish to get him in real trouble. So
Yeah,
Bohachuk,
yeah,
he
I was
just
familiar. Yeah, I was familiar with Boychuk, so I know that he's a long, lanky guy.
yeah,
And the reason I
technician.
the reason I was going with Mendoza, I thought he would have enough power to trouble him. I was thinking about Boychuk versus Adams. I want to say Brian. It might
Oh
not be
yeah,
Brian Adams.
his only loss. Yeah,
Yeah, the
Brandon.
guy. Yeah, who won the contender. He beat
Yeah,
Shane Mosley Jr. And he's a very charismatic guy as well. Usually has some pretty cool ring entrance gear. But
yeah,
I know that going into it, I did think that Mendoza would pull it off. But hey, I got to check
yeah,
out Boychuk again. So he's back on that trajectory he was on, because I know leading into that contest, he had a lot of
yeah,
promise as well. He's Ukrainian, right? If
yeah.
I recall correctly. So holding
Mm.
it down. Oh, Boychuk.
His nickname is El Flaco, which means, I guess, thin man or something.
El Paco, I like that. I like that
Yeah,
there. Wow, that's a good one,
yeah,
Mr. Paz. We'll see what he does. So this was at 154, right? So
yeah, yeah. So he's got the WBC interim title. That was the title on the line. So Bohachuk has
oh,
now that
okay.
title. Yeah, and he can challenge eventually. Yeah, whoever holds the full one. Was it actually? It's now Fundora, I believe, after the
Pandora.
Super. Yeah,
Yeah, was that the so that was WBC title in that contest?
yeah. It was the vacant WBC plus WBO, which Tim Tzu
Oh, okay.
held. So yeah,
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, gotcha. Okay, sounds good. Yeah, that is an interesting one for sure. Yeah,
yeah.
Boychuk
What
versus Fedora. That'll be interesting.
that fight! I'm sick about that fight, man. What
Oh
happened
yeah.
with Tim? Man, what a bad
I
luck!
did catch
What a
that one.
that was incredible. Like in the end of round two, he was doing really well, and then he just
Yeah.
stumbles and falls onto the it seems the
Oh yeah,
shoulder
I
of
saw it. Yeah, a
Fundora.
little elbow
Yeah, yeah. I
right
mean
there.
elbow. Yeah, not shoulder. Elbow. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he gets a big cut. I don't see why they didn't stop it and just call it a technical draw or
Probably
something.
what they should have done. Yeah,
Yeah.
I actually had it up on my phone. So I was driving at the time, so I wasn't really looking at it, because can't drive and look at boxing, and I wouldn't encourage it
Yeah.
either. But that being said, yeah, they probably should have stopped it, because blood kept
Mm.
going into his eye, and it was like, even though they were slopping down that Vaseline, it wasn't really doing
Yeah.
anything.
It wasn't. He was always covered in blood, like his face so red, man. It was grotesque.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Go good. So the same thought process. They should have stopped it.
Yeah.
That could have made it a bit more interesting. Now I like Fundora. I've always liked Fundora, and
Mm.
I remember he got knocked out by Mendoza, and I was just like, "Whew." So I
Yeah.
honestly, coming into this contest,
That
I
was.
thought that Tim Tszyu had the potential, with the right setup of stopping him. But that
Yeah.
being said, in the little fight prediction league, I went in there and I picked. I know when I submitted it, I picked Pandora via
Yeah.
stoppage, but that was just a fight prediction, a wild one right there. It could have predicted what
Yeah.
happened given the cut, right? So, but
Yeah. And he also didn't
yeah,
really like punch like he usually does. It was like these short, quick punches that he used mostly until the last round. Like when both guys just let it all hang out. That was the only time when I saw
yeah.
Fundora really like swing. Like yeah,
Yeah, in Pandora, he's gonna always be an interesting opponent for anyone to face, because he's gonna likely be the taller guy. He'd always be the
yeah,
taller guy, especially fighting at the weight he's fighting right now. Because you got
yeah.
guys who aren't even his height as you even move up to the heavyweight
He's a
ranks,
he's a
which is
freak of
crazy.
nature. I don't
He
think
is.
he'll ever go probably I don't know if he'll go to super middleweight, even maybe middleweight or who
Yeah,
knows.
maybe he can get up there, because he just looks so
Yeah.
funny in there. Seeing just so funny being that tall and at that weight.
Mm.
Yeah, it does look funny in there. And I guess he made some adjustments stylistically in this fight, but generally he doesn't fight tall, which is another crazy aspect of him. That's what makes him kind of
Yeah.
unicornish. This big long guy fighting like he's an inside fighter, fighting like he's Pit Bull
Yeah.
or something.
He does. Yeah, he's very unusual. Yeah, very fun to watch, and yeah. So, I'm glad it happened against him that Tsu
Yeah.
lost that way. If it had been somebody that I don't really like that much, it would have been worse, of course. But like Keith Thurman, for instance, or someone like Keith Thurman was gonna fight instead of Fundora, but of course he.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because I think that Sturman was going to get stopped. I do feel
Yeah,
that would have been the case.
yeah,
Not
it
that
gotta be.
Thurman
Yeah,
wasn't the better overall fighter at one point in time, as far
yeah,
as
that was
but that been a
some
minute.
time ago. Yeah,
2017. If it would have happened in
yeah,
2017, different story.
of course. Yeah,
But
he could have fought at 154 even then, because he fought at that weight like in 2012. I remember very well.
okay, yeah,
Yeah,
there you're right
mhm,
there, and he had a good 2017, and then kind of the inactivity and all that. So it's going to be a tall order for him to take out Zoo. But Go
yeah,
Good as mentioned, Fundora so tall's fights look awkward, certainly, and it even looked more awkward when Errol Spence stepped in the ring and they were touting that contest as potentially being next, which is very
oh yeah,
interesting. Very interesting
yeah.
right there.
He's not much taller than Sue, so yeah, that was another
Yeah.
freak fight.
Now, speaking of that, so Fundora's the champ now. Errol Spence, I guess this was him essentially putting out there that it is indeed 154. So we're not going to get a 147-pound Errol Spence any longer. So you have him
Mhm.
out there. Then Terrence Crawford was thrown out there, and of course, Mr. Pads even mentioned there's rumor now that Crawford could take on Madrimov, who beat someone who I think it was like a title eliminator or something of that nature. Israel Madrimov. He fought recently. I saw that contest and he looked good. So I guess apparently there's a rumor out there of Terrence Crawford potentially facing Madrimov, and that would be a good contest from a boxing standpoint because Madrimov, he has some wrinkles to his game. We know he's pretty skilled,
Oh yeah,
and Crawford's going up to 154 for the first time, so that would
yeah.
be interesting.
Admiral looked so good against Kurbanov. That was really wow.
Yeah,
he
that's what I'm
stopped.
thinking of. Carabano, he
Yeah, he
handled him.
stopped the guy who was undefeated in 5 rounds.
Yeah,
Man, does it get more impressive than that? I don't think so.
and hey, in Carabano, he couldn't figure out what to do with him.
Yeah,
He
the
couldn't
way.
figure out what to do with him.
Yeah, because Admiral has such an unorthodox way of throwing, setting up punches and all that. It's incredible. I've never seen anybody yet do that like him. Like
Oh
he
yeah,
throws punches. It's pretty rare. Yeah.
yeah. Now, Mr. Paz asked, would I buy tickets for Bud versus Madrimov? You know what? I try to get a media credential, and I guess if push came to shove, I ultimately have to buy a ticket. But I think I'll do it. I've seen Madrimov fight live before, and I thought he looked good then. This was like when him and Akhmadaliev and some others had first started fighting over here in the U.S. But I saw him in Atlantic City. I forget who he's taking on, but he looked good then. Him as well as MJ Mirjan Akhmadaliev, and there's
Yeah.
another one as well who's an Uzbek fighter who's of that same ilk. A lot of those Uzbek fighters are pretty
Yeah.
solid. But yeah, I definitely like to see him in action again. And I haven't seen Bud in action live. So
Maybe
that would be
what's his
cool.
name? That guy who recently beat Rosado. What's his name? The bully.
Oh
He's
yeah.
also Uzbek.
Melakusiev,
Yeah.
the
Back,
bully.
yeah. Back Temir. Yeah.
Bektamir. Oh yeah, his name came up last night. It's a
Oh yeah.
potential Pacheco opponent. That would be an interesting fight right there. Action
Oh
fight, you
yeah.
would think.
Wow.
I don't know if it will happen. I believe Bektamir is with PBC, right? He's with PBC, I believe.
Strong guy, yeah,
I
really.
could be wrong, but I feel like he's with PBC, but I may be off there. So, but he is, yeah, solid, strong at 168, as you mentioned. So it would be interesting. Beck the Bully versus Pacheco.
Yeah. Back to
Beck the Bully, but yeah, to your question, Mr. Pass. Hey, I'm down for Madrimal versus Bud. I'd go check it out for sure. I definitely go check that thing out. Salute to Bruce Gas, Boxing Jazz, and more.
oh,
Who sends his regards here. Salute to you there, Bruce. Hey, folks, go check out Bruce. If you haven't, check him out. His channel, you're going to find some good action. It's going to be entertaining, good interviews. And, hey, I saw those quizzes there, Bruce. Or at least I missed the live version of it. I want to participate. Definitely, I'll try to catch one of the next ones for sure. I'm going to go back through the videos because I haven't gone through them. But I saw that they popped up. And, hey, I want to try to participate there. So, salute to you there, Bruce. Hey, folks, go check out Bruce's channel. He's got some good content over there. And he's a steward of the history of the sport as well. So that always makes for entertaining discussions, as you know. So salute to you there, Bruce Gas. But yeah, so we're talking boxing. We've kind of jumped into a mix of different things now, touched on a number of the different divisions. And there were some other good contests that took place yesterday as well.
yeah.
And yeah, they're out there. It was like a big thing of
Mark.
boxing action. Jamel Herring, I guess, this past Wednesday, he lost. I didn't know he was fighting, but
yeah, he was. That's right. Yeah.
Well, I knew he had made a comeback, but I didn't know he was fighting last Wednesday or whatnot. But
yeah, he just should retire. You know, he's 38, I believe, and lost too many
the
fights.
fighting Marine or a Marine who fights.
Yeah, also that fight, Estrada women's fight.
Did you catch that one, Boz? Siniesta Estrada versus
Yocasta Valle.
Yes,
No, I didn't.
yes.
No,
you're right. Oh, you're saying you didn't catch it.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, gotcha.
I did watch Skye Nicholson versus Valerie Mahfoud.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Well, that wasn't really much of a contest.
No, it was pretty one-sided, but yeah.
And she was She was just playing around with her in there.
Yeah, I mean, Mahfoud, I felt sorry for her. She also looked smaller, really. Like they were of two different weight classes.
Yeah,
Skye looked so bigger, stronger, so much stronger and bigger than her. Yeah.
That is. She did. Well, I have a friend. Her name's Tiara Brown. I know she wants to fight Skye Nicholson, and she'll be of size.
Nice. Yeah, she gotta be. She better be. But I also want to mention that Marc Castro versus the Montoya. I don't remember his first name.
Yeah. We were talking about that. So Castro versus Montoya. That was a little action contest. Oh yeah, you can hear your thoughts there, Boz.
Yeah, very good fight. I mean, to me, it is a candidate for fight of the year. You don't think so, but anyway, I thought that was very good because even though Montoya didn't do that much, he did have his moments, and I mean, Castro he looked sensational. I mean, his hand speed and way he throws and lands punches, and I mean, he's pretty. He's gonna be pretty big, I think in future it's gonna be something.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and he had the crowd on his side, obviously, and he's also a popular fighter. So,
yeah, that was a good one for sure. And I know we were talking that before before coming on air. Yeah, Castro. Yeah, he was landing some big shots, and Montoya, you can hit that guy with anything, and he just doesn't back down. You can hit him with a kitchen sink, and he's going to still come forward. I didn't think it was fight of the year candidate, but that being said, hey, it was a good little action contest, and they had some moments there in some of those rounds where, hey, they were really digging in. So that did make for an interesting contest for sure.
I was surprised though that one judge gave Montoya 3 rounds. I wouldn't have. I don't know. Maybe I would give him in 1, but even that's questionable. But maybe 1. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought, it certainly never in question. And, there's no doubt it was a Castro contest for sure. But
Yeah,
it still was an interesting contest, I will
yeah,
say.
yeah.
Um,
It's not like he just cruised to an easy, really easy victory. He had to work for it, you know.
oh yeah, and to Mr. Pad's point, Estrada versus Valle. What is it? Was it Valle? Is it how you
But
say it?
yeah, yeah,
Valle.
something. Yeah, yeah,
Who's a Mexican fighter. That was a good contest right there. I really enjoyed it, Mr. Pads. I thought it was some pretty solid chess match action in some points in during the rounds. Estrada seemed to have the lead there through the first portion of the fight, but then Valle started to come back and she started to land some things that were seemingly snapping Estrada's head at points. And I thought it was a good matchup, good contest. I definitely like to see those two go at it again. I do. I believe I scored it. I believe I scored it, and I had it 2 rounds in favor of Estrada. So it was a close contest as well. I gave, I had it 96-94 Estrada. The crowd was on Valle's side as far as the decision was concerned. So that always makes for interesting. They had a great backstory coming into it with the trainer previously working with Estrada, the one in Valle's corner, and working with Estrada's dad. So I thought it was a very good contest, and hopefully they do it again. Hopefully they do a rematch. We can have that on some other
yeah.
solid card or whatnot, because I think it'll be even more high stakes in this next one.
Oh yeah,
I'll
I
be looking
agree.
forward to that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and also I forgot to say that actually that Skye Nicholson, and there is an interest to
Oh yeah,
for a fight between her and Amanda Serrano.
I
So
heard, yeah, and I didn't know that
yeah,
prior. I didn't know that there was the interesting because I felt that Sky, while she's all right,
mm,
that's a fight that I felt
yeah.
too soon, but hey, maybe not.
She only has 10 fights now, but I think she's ready. I mean, maybe I mean probably she should be anyway ready to
As
give it.
ready as she can be at this point, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That
I
will
don't
be
think she's
interesting.
gonna get much better for sure.
Yeah,
So
I watch it. I certainly watch it. I favor Amanda Serrano, but Amanda's
yeah,
got a lot of fights on the ledger, so that's
yeah,
on Sky's side. Certainly, the tougher competition, more fights, more
mm,
rounds, all of that
yeah,
lies with Serrano. So Skye Nicholson does have that youth and not a lot of wear and tear. Certainly didn't get any wear and tear in this contest from yesterday, so she could literally go back in there ASAP.
yeah.
You know, that makes it interesting. Salute to Paul Bright out there. 10 for 5 to you, Paul Bright. Shout out to you. Says peace and blessings, everyone. Fellow Marine right there. Shout out to all the veterans, as a matter of fact. Ura, Semper Fi, all the Marines. Hua to the Army. Then Air Force, Navy, they say, man the torpedoes or something like that.
Mm,
So Coast Guard, salute to you out there as well. Space Force, hey, let's take a trip to the moon. I'm down for that. But salute to you there, Paul. Always great having you in here, buddy.
yeah.
Always. Mr.
Oh
Pat says
yeah.
Johnson Biles. I thought Wortley versus Clark was an epic fight. Epic it was. Yeah, we were talking about that before we came on air as well.
Yes.
We were going to mention
Yeah.
that. That was a good back and forth right there. What'd you think
Very.
there, Boz, overall?
Yeah.
Wortley Clark.
Warley Clark, yeah, I mean that was a very hard fight for both guys. I mean, Warley was, I thought, probably deserved the nod, but
Yeah.
yeah, he also gave a few rounds away. I thought by not doing much, you know, but by
Yeah.
that's the thing that frustrates me with him. He sometimes lets the other guy punch him too many times before he springs into action, and he got cut here pretty badly on the nose, and he was fighting a really huge, like a bear of a man in Clark. You know, he's a very heavy, big guy, very strong. He did put him down in the fifth round. That was his probably best moment. He had a few other good, moments, Wardley, but just couldn't put him away. And it was a pretty, yeah. In the end, became rather let's say, well, even ugly in a way or brutal fight. But yeah, I thought that draw was a nonsense. Why do that? I mean,
Yeah,
if they wanted to honor Clark's performance, they could have made it a split decision for Wardley instead, at least.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
Interesting for sure. I was leaning Wardley, but will say that man, Clark certainly did something because Wardley's face was jacked up there at the
yeah,
end, and that wasn't the case at the beginning. So Clark was able to touch him. Hey, I got to give Clark his props. I know they had talked
yeah,
about this contest last year, and I thought they were just blowing smoke. But hey, he
yeah.
was down for it, and
Yeah, I
he
gotta give
showed up.
Clark his props because I didn't think that highly of him, but I didn't really know him as a fighter. But I thought he was just some loudmouth who
Big Freeze.
like to brag, brag. But he, for his size and all that, being so heavy, he did pretty well. Yeah, he
Yeah.
was pretty effective with his punches.
And I
Yeah,
wonder about Clark's gas tank, but they seem to hold on for sure. Paul
yeah,
Bright, he says he thought Wardley edged it. He'd like to see a rematch. Yeah,
yeah.
that seems
He would.
definitely had a makings for a rematch. We need that for sure. But
Mm,
good action fight. I want to watch it again because that's another one I was watching it on my phone.
mm,
So I got to see some of that action in moments and all of that stuff. But I definitely want to get a closer eye to it. But I did feel that Wardley got the nod slightly. But that being said, I'm fine with them
yeah, I
rematching
mean,
for sure.
it's gonna be a problem for Worley now when if he's gonna go and fight better
Mhm.
fighters, because he can't fight like he has been doing so far. And you see when he can't knock out his guy. This is the first time he didn't, I believe, or
Yeah.
yeah, he may have had one fight first that was a short that he
Okay.
went that went the distance, yeah, but the others he won by knockout.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So when he can't knock this guy out, he struggles, and he is not active enough. In all the rounds. Also, that's very frustrating to watch. Sometimes he just
Yeah.
waits and lingers on, and ponders too much. I guess
Yeah.
for
He's got some dog in him, though. I like that. He
yeah,
definitely has some of that dog in him
yeah, and the
there.
speed. He's got the speed for a big guy. That's a pretty big, asset for a heavyweight. The speed, not many heavyweights are fast today.
Yeah.
Let's say they are
Yeah.
huge guys. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, no, that's true. And Mr. Pad mentioned that court that cuts from the Gorman fight. So scar tissue there. Okay. Yeah, I remember that. That was a very good contest as well. They were banging. And I do
yeah.
remember Wardley getting cut.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
so yeah,
Wow.
Wardley, I guess where he was busted up in this fight with Clark, I guess it's scar
Yeah.
tissue from that Gorman fight where he
Gorman.
got
Yeah.
cut. Because he
Gorman is another really heavy guy. Yeah.
Yeah, that might have been the first time he got cut. As a matter of fact, when I think about it, at least from the fight that I've seen of Wardley, I believe that might have been his first time getting cut right there,
Yeah.
or at least to that
That
degree.
that was almost funny, like in a movie, like Gorman first cut him up badly, and then just got
Yeah,
taken out, just like bang, like that.
yeah, right. Yeah, that was a good little contest. I think it was only like 3, 4 rounds or something like that.
Yeah.
But no, it was worth every penny right there. And I got to give Gorman props because he was ready to bang too. So yeah, he really tested Wardley. And I think that was a good
Yeah.
matchup at the right time as well. And that certainly has helped him. And I feel like it's been an escalation as far as Wardley. And he's really shaping up that resume for sure. It was
Mm.
satisfying getting that W over David Adelaide, who had talked a bunch
Oh,
of
yeah.
stuff and
Yeah.
some craziness prior to the fight. So Wardley, hey, he has a pretty solid resume he's building up now.
Yeah.
And I think we may have mentioned it before. Maybe we ultimately get a Wardley versus Johnny Fisher clash, which I think will be
Mm.
interesting one as well.
Yeah.
But
Why not? Johnny
but
Fisher is.
Johnny may
I don't.
still have a few fights
Yeah.
before
I.
he's there.
Yeah, I don't think he's still at the same level, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's still kind of early for him.
But yeah, Fisher's gotten in shape. But yeah, maybe Fisher gets someone else at some point can make for a good British heavyweight clash, and then we can see how it continues on the world stage. But Wardley, I think he's ready for that world stage. There's some heavyweights out there that he can make it for an interesting matchup with.
You know who he could fight? That would be very Fisher versus that guy Moses Itoma. What about that?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that might be what happens as far as that clash right there. Moses Itoma. And oh yeah, that's a good one right there. You point out there. Yeah, I like that. I'd sign up for that one for sure. And that one's probably closer from a trajectory standpoint for both of them. They're both at a similar kind of level of competition at this
like Fisher has 11 fights I just saw, and Itoma 8. So it's not a big difference there, you know.
Okay, so Mr. Pat says Moses is fighting some nobody on the Fury Usyk undercard. Okay, interesting.
Yeah,
keeping him busy, huh?
That guy is actually he's from Kazakhstan. Ilya Mezentsev, all right. Because that name sounded to me like a former Yugoslav name, but it's not. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Mr. Paz mentions I would have loved the Toma versus Fisher on the Queens versus Matchroom 5 versus 5 card. Oh yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
They're gonna hold off on that. It seems like.
Yeah, Itoma is a really like a fast and explosive puncher and all that. And I don't know how tall he is, but he looks all right. I mean, not small anyway for a heavyweight.
Yeah. Fisher might have to. Yeah, I had to look it up too. Maybe
Fisher is 6'4", but he's really also kind of
Toma is probably 6'2", 6'3" ish or something, or he could be taller. You know what? Not sure, but yeah, they could be. Yeah, that might be the scrap right there. That was a good one to bring up. Oh, Tom Schwartz. Oh, he's next to. Oh, Rodolfo says that Toma's next opponent lost to Tom Schwartz.
Yeah, he did to. I see by corner retirement was in 2019. Wow. Oh, twice actually, also by a knockout.
Oh yeah. Oh, Tom Schwartz. Okay.
Yeah, Tom Schwartz. He was the guy who did he fight again?
Fury.
Oh, Tyson. Yeah, Fury. Yeah.
Yeah. It was. Yeah, he got stopped.
Yeah, that was just a mismatch, obviously.
Yeah. Right. So, this is a build-up fight there for Moses Itoma. So, but yeah, Atomo Fisher, that one's that's going on the list right there in the back of my brain right there. Fights I want to see here eventually in the heavyweight ranks right there, because that could be something special. Because I like how Fisher has looked as of late. He's gotten in better shape and he goes for it. That's one thing for sure. He goes for it. So that'll make for an interesting scrap.
I don't know really why is sorry. I was looking at the rankings. Martin Bakoli, he hasn't had a fight yet this year.
I was about to say it's been a minute, huh?
Yeah, he's being avoided. They say. I've heard some people say. I mean, or read that they don't really want to give him the big fights, and
that would be an interesting fight right there for Jared Anderson. I feel Martin Bakoli.
Yeah,
that'll be an interesting one.
I hope that he gets a fight like that.
Yeah, Anderson is going to fight Merhi. I think he's
Riyadh.
Is he German?
Yeah. No, he's from Belgium.
Okay, Belgium. Okay. Similar flag color.
Riyadh. I don't know how you.
Riyadh.
Yeah.
Okay,
Riyadh.
so Jared Anderson, he's going to be fighting, coming back for that. Yeah.
Merhi is only 5'11" and he beat the 6'7" the Yoka. I mean, how amazing is that?
Oh yeah. So he beat Tony Yoka.
Yeah, he beat him. He was the last guy to beat him so far.
Okay. Tony Yoka
may have even dropped him once. Let's see. Maybe I think he gave him a beating actually, where he did.
Oh yeah, you know what? And I need to check to see who won out of. Oh no, it hadn't happened yet, but
well, it was a split decision, but I mean, it was in
that Anderson Merhi fight.
Yeah.
Okay, but
no, I mean,
Vianelo's fighting too on that card. You know.
Oh yeah, Vianello. Yeah, I don't know what I think about him really yet.
I
We'll
think he's
see.
taking on a job, but right?
Oh yeah, they are both equally tall. Yeah, I know that's true.
So that should be an
6'6".
interesting one right there.
Yeah, Jagba won his last fight by disqualification, so he got off kind of easy. But
Oh yeah,
he's
yeah,
proven he since that loss to Frank Sanchez, he's kind of shown signs of improvement. I would say.
yeah. He has. He
Yeah.
has. It certainly looked better.
Oh
He's.
yeah, here's Frank Sanchez fighting Agit Caballero. Very good
Oh yeah,
fight.
that's what. Yeah, Rodolfo Frank Sanchez is gonna fight Caballero. Caballero. Where did I know Caballero from?
He stopped Mahmudo in that
Oh, okay. Oh, that's an interesting contest right there. That
yeah.
is. That is.
Where he
Yeah,
was
he
pretty
broke down, chopped down Makhmadov. Makhmadov
yeah.
looked very human after that contest, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I always had a feeling that people were sleeping on Caballero. He looked pretty solid to me also before that fight. He had
Yeah.
some good wins on his record. Yeah.
No. Right. And Caballero, yeah, he looks like he can box. He can box pretty well.
Yeah.
So he should make it interesting for sure.
Mm.
So Sanchez Caballero, hey, that's a contest. Hey, been looking for Sanchez to get another solid opponent in the ring with him. So both of these
Yeah.
guys are gonna make for a pretty good boxing contest, I would think.
Oh yeah, but I think Sanchez will ultimately beat him, but probably
Yeah.
on points. I don't think he'll knock him
Yeah, I
out.
like Sanchez. I think he's certainly very skilled, move pretty decently. So yeah, Sanchez. I do like Sanchez as well. So it should be an interesting one. Good test for Sanchez there. Mr. Paz mentions Parker calling out White. Yeah, I did catch that. That was pretty funny, Mr. Paz. I sent it to Rodolfo. Rodolfo
What?
didn't
Oh,
like it.
that is a few years too late, I would say. At
Yeah.
least three years or something.
I haven't seen that Dillian White contest, but from what I gathered, when he came back here recently, from what I gathered, it wasn't necessarily kind of lackluster or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, Mr. Paz mentions Caballero also beat Chisora back in the day. You remember? Oh, no, I didn't remember that. That was always my problem with him because he didn't push on from that win. He took far too long. Oh, okay. And yeah, I guess I didn't recall that him beating Chisora, but that hey, another solid one. That is pretty crazy because Chisora managed to get a world title shot since that point. Then it's pretty crazy.
Caballero is German based, so it's a little harder. It can be harder to get enough fights or bigger fights.
Oh
in
yeah,
a year or something. Yeah, 2 years, whatever.
Oh yeah, certainly. Paul Bright mentions that Fury Usyk card is loaded. Yeah, Riyadh. Let me see here. I need to pull it up right here to see what the remaining things are on that. But that should be
Yeah,
pretty
it's
interesting.
gotta be because yeah.
Oh yeah,
Sorry.
Opataya is going to be on there. That should be interesting right there.
Yeah.
Rematch. Even though I believe this is Breedis. I don't believe he's fought since the Opataya contest, right? That first time.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, Myris.
So maybe this is the
yeah,
sort
that's
of
true.
Passing of the torch in an official capacity at this stage because Opataya has looked great and Breedis, I don't know what to expect. He is, I believe, 40 at this point, right? Or at least about to be.
Yeah, he's about close to it. Yeah, anyway, I think he's 39 or 4. Maybe he is 40 already. I don't know.
But yeah, I like Breedis. I do think Breedis. I do think that contest was very close. As a matter of fact, I had it scored slightly in favor of Breedis the first time with Opataya. I got to look back. I remember scoring it, but Opataya showed some dog in him. I do think Opataya is the best cruiserweight in the world right now, and we'll see what Breedis has left.
Breedis is 39. Yes, just like I thought.
Okay, 39. All right. Oh, I see that Sergey Kovalev is on that card.
Wow, no way, man.
On this card in Riyadh.
He's 41, I think now. Yeah.
He's taking on a Swedish fighter, Safar.
Is he still a light heavyweight or a
Cruiser? Gonna be
right.
at Cruiser right here.
That's
Wasn't expecting that one for sure.
Yeah.
Zach Lowe's fighting. I like
when
Zach
was his last fight? 2019 or 20 or something? I don't know.
I think he made some kind. I think he might have made some kind of little small time comeback or something. But maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, well, he was like accused for slapping a woman or something, I believe. So he had a trial, and legal trouble.
Oh yeah, okay.
This was around the time of pandemic or something, or just before that it happened.
Yeah. Gotcha. Oh yeah, Mr. Paz mentioned that Dillian White fight was at a local pub in Dublin. There, wasn't any stream out there. That's really funny.
Bruce show, right?
Yeah, that's crazy. Better BF Bivol is having the Matchroom versus Queenberry 5-on-5. As the undercard is going to be epic as well. Oh, yeah, good stuff. Yeah, I need to look up that card. But, yeah, certainly looking for that contest. So the card, I'd imagine, is going to be pretty stacked, too, as well. 5-on-5.
5-on-5.
But, no, this has been great. And I see real quick that, Wednesday on ProBox, you're going to have Angelo Leo versus Leonardo Baez or something Baez. But Baez, scrapper, that should be an interesting contest. Favor Leo boxing-wise to pull off the victory. Who else is coming up? Gil Barrett. That's going to be a British card. It's going to be pretty solid. Ellie Scottney's fighting on there as well. All right. Who else? Yeah, and then we mentioned the card with Anderson, Murray, Tsutsumi, Moreno, rather. This is going to be taking place in Japan. Oh, come on. Oh, yeah. Another big one, Saturday, April 20th. So that one's right around the corner is Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia right there for a WBC World Super Lightweight Championship. I think a lot of people are going to be favoring Devin Haney in that contest.
Yeah. Yeah, I think myself I am favoring him because of his, defensive skills and all that. He's just a much more clever fighter than Ryan Garcia. But yeah, you never know, of course. But I would think Haney wins that fight. And
the undercard has some pretty solid names too, though. All of them seem to be favorable for what would be considered the A-side fighter.
Right.
You got Arnold Barboza Jr. is going to be fighting Scrappy Ramirez. I like Scrappy. Charles Conwell taking on Nathaniel Gallimore, but Gallimore is pretty much done at this point. So, yeah, it's crazy. So we have some good stuff up. And then one I saw mentioned last night, as a matter of fact, and I didn't know, but going to have Jose Ramirez taking on Rancis Barthelemy. That's going to be a good one.
Well, Rance is still fighting, man.
Still fighting. That should be a good one, though. I think. I'd favor Jose Ramirez, but it should be a pretty good contest.
Yeah, me too, of course. I have to. I mean, Rancis is and then he was very good, Rancis, in his time, and he was in his best years, but that was some time ago.
Yeah. So that's Saturday, April 27th. Then on the undercard, I see that Virgil Ortiz is going to be fighting Virgil, but he's taking on Thomas Delorme, which I think he's going to break down and stop Thomas Delorme for sure.
Oh, yeah. He's also fighting still. Oh, man. So many guys.
He came back at 154, but the fight only lasted one round. The ref stopped it too early. He took on Frederick Lawson in his last contest.
I mean, so many guys there that need to retire like ASAP. That I would say,
Yeah. So one of those, Manny Rodriguez. So some good stuff coming up. And then in a way, Neary, but man, some good stuff for sure. This has been great.
Yep.
Hour and a half. Bruce Delerme is about to take on Virgil Ortiz, so that seemed to be one setup right there where Delerme is definitely not coming out of there. At least with the decision, he's gonna take this one as a TKO or KO, one of the two. I'm thinking. We'll see, of course, though. Hey, no, I'm with you there. Bruce. So 154, he's there in the mix now. 154 is heating back up again. So there is some competition out there. There is. So we'll see if he gets matched up with any of those guys. And another guy I want to see, this will be my last thing, is Montez Stanionis. I feel like he just got left off the backdrop with his repeated cancellations of the Virgil Ortiz contest, and now he's been out the ring for well over a year, maybe 2 years, bordering 2 years at this point. You know, he's Lithuanian, very solid fighter, so his momentum has definitely fallen off. But I'd like to see him for sure at some point. Go Good says, how do you think Ryan versus Dev go to a decision? You know what? I think that myself, Devin Haney, I think he's going to find a way to get the stoppage there, Go Good against Ryan Garcia. That's what I think.
Maybe.
Yeah, so I'm going to go Devin stoppage.
Yeah, right. Interesting, yeah.
And the more I see Devin, you know, as he continues on, man, he's a solid 140 pounder now. He's taking on the weight well. I could see him ultimately ending up at 154 maybe later down the road, but he just takes on the weight well, so he's a big guy in that sense. I think it'll, as you mentioned there, Go Good. Yeah, it should be a good fight. I'm thinking Haney's gonna go for it, and I think he's gonna break down, potentially stop Ryan Garcia somewhere middle to late rounds. Garcia should be game, but I like the contest though. I will say that it's a good one, and I like to build up. They're funny.
Yeah, that's for sure. They're not dull.
Certainly. But no, hey, we appreciate everyone dropping by, man. This has been a great show. A lot of good discussions going on, and of course, more to come. And you see on the channel for sure, we're going to talk about some boxing history as well. So let us know there, folks. Let us know. But appreciate you hopping on as well, Boz. We'll have to do this again.
Pleasure, as always. Yeah.
Thank you to all who dropped by. We appreciate you, every last one of you. More to come for sure. So, so stay tuned. We might be back in the mix here next week. I think I have this other thing though as well. So it could not be next. There's something I have to do on Sunday. That's the 14th. So but I'll let you know. It depends on the timing or whatever. But appreciate it. Go Good. Hey, appreciate it for sure, man. Thank you for dropping by. No doubt about it. Yeah. Hey, we try to keep it straightforward right there. Go Good. Hey, just keep it, 100 basically. So appreciate you, Go Good. There's salute to you. All right, Bruce. Be sure to check out Bruce, y'all. Simplify my man Paul Bright, all that good stuff. Trivia Friday night. Okay, I'm dropping by, Bruce, for sure. I'm dropping by. I want to participate in that.
Yeah, I know what you was talking about. Yeah, there are many such shows, unfortunately.
Well, jump in there, Bob. We'll go at it.
Yep.
We'll see how it goes.
Sure.
But thank you all. Have a good one.
Thanks.